we go. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming for our 4th annual EDC BizWeek banquet. We're really excited to have everybody here. Tommy, I want to thank you for this last year, actually for the last 3 years now, of serving as our EDC director and really trying to navigate these times. And he's done a great job for us. The vast majority of work, none of us ever see. It happens behind the scenes. But tonight's a great example of the things that he puts on, and I really appreciate it, Tommy. My name's Johnny Myra Knipple. I'm the chair of the EDC. Over the last 12 months, it's been an exciting times. We've obviously had some challenges for anyone who's read the news. The good news is that we, over these last 12 months, we've had some great growth and some great growth to look forward to. Since my wife works for FTP and they help pay my mortgage, thank you guys. We'll brag on them first. I remember her telling me, 6-12 months ago, every month they were losing money, very challenging times. And in just the last 6 months, they've gone from losing money to making money every single month. And talking with John, I was just there 2 weeks ago, and their goal is to double revenue over the next 12 months. So talk about a company who's gone from really down to being one of those successes that we're excited to have here in Macon County. Another great example is the hospital. Jim, over the last 12 months, they've had double-digit growth in most services. And the partnership with Mission, being an affiliate of Mission, has been great for this community. Over the next 12 to 24 months, Mission Health is going to be pumping another $5 million into the hospital to expand the women's unit, the women's inpatient unit. So we'll have another 8 labor and delivery rooms that are going to be so much nicer than anyone who delivered children there in the last 10 years. The new rooms are just going to be incredible. So we're definitely excited about that. We've also had some organic growth, businesses that didn't exist last year that are existing today. The Bowery has far exceeded expectations. Anyone who's driven down Main Street on weekday night has noticed that there's actually people parked on the side of the road and taking up all the parking spots, which is really, really exciting. We're excited that next month the Lazy Hiker is about to open, and I heard that they were going to offer free beer to all of those in attendance. All right, well, I tried. Sorry, guys. But enough talking by me. I do want to thank everybody again for coming. Tommy, again, thank you for that. And I want to thank everybody in attendance for supporting our community. Without you, none of this is possible. None of the people who work here would be able to survive. So really thank you guys for everything you do for Macon County, and I hope everybody has a great evening. So thank you.
Okay, good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello. Okay, we're going to have a good time tonight. Try to get you home by midnight, I hope. So, couple of people I'd like to thank. First of all, I'd like to thank our county commissioners. Let's see, we have Ronnie Bill here. We've got Jim Tate here and Gary Shields here, and our county manager, Derek Rowland. So, fellas, thank you for being here. And thank you for your support for economic development. So, also from the town of Franklin, we have the mayor, Bob Scott, and Joyce Handley, also, and Barbara McRae, who's also an EDC, and Summer Woodard, our town manager. Thank you, Bob. I got all your signatures. And if our members on the EDC board would stand up, we'd like to give you a round of applause, too. So. Okay, I promised everyone that we would move things along this evening, so right now we're going to eat. I'll go first. I am an American also. So, Mr. Gary Shields, if you'll come up there, Pledge of Allegiance.
We could all stand and face the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And now Brandon Breedlove from Holly Springs Baptist will lead us in our prayer.
Let me say to you that we are glad as a faith family here at Holly Springs that we can partner with you in this way tonight. You're here because of your commitment to business, and we're here because of our commitment to King Jesus' business. We believe that Jesus came to earth, born of a virgin, lived a perfectly sinless life, gave His life to make atonement for the sin of the world, and one day He's coming back again, and we do our best to share that good news of the gospel with everybody we can. And we're so thankful that we can partner with you tonight. So thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing us to partner with you in this way. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for the gift of this day that you have given us. And thank you, Lord, that we can come together in all we do and be reminded that we're about your business even in all that we do. You tell us to do everything to your glory. Father, I thank you for all of those that have been mentioned thus far, all of those that are represented here tonight and their commitment to this county. I thank you for their commitment to the financial welfare and so many other ways that they serve and that they're committed to. We do pray, Lord, that you would use this meal to nourish bodies and use us for your glory, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Okay, about ready to get our program started, so continue to enjoy your dessert, or your meal if you're not to your dessert. Let's hear it for our entertainment tonight, Jazz Mountain, Ray Olson, and Ray Sabacos. Paul Sabacos. Okay. Really enjoyable music there. We've got several things we're going to go over tonight, and so we won't beat around the bush. We'll go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to have the Appalachian Trail Conservancy and Town of Franklin Partnership Renewal. The Appalachian Trail Community Program is designed to recognize communities that promote and protect the Appalachian Trail. Towns, counties, and communities along the AT's corridor are considered assets for all that use the AT, and many of these towns act as good friends and neighbors to the trail. The program serves to assist communities with sustainable economic development through tourism and outdoor recreation while preserving and protecting the AT. It's my pleasure to introduce Franklin's Mayor Bob Scott, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy's Southern Regional Director Morgan Summerfield, and the Appalachian Trail Community Program Manager Julie Junkins. Together, they will formally renew Franklin's designation as an Appalachian Trail community. Franklin was designated as an AT community on March 23, 2010. 37 towns are now designated as Appalachian Trail communities from Georgia to Maine. The intent of the program is to recognize communities that promote and protect the AT. Since Franklin's designation, the AT and its users have had a significant positive economic impact on Franklin and Macon County. So Bob, if y'all will come up right now, we'll have the presentation.
Well, Tommy said that we'd be out of here by midnight, but he didn't have enough sense then to give me a microphone and a lectern. So here we are. I just want to say that I feel like what Franklin's done is a real feather in our cap, both for the town and the Appalachian Trail. 20 or 30 years from now, our outdoors is going to be our drawing card. I think as things keep going like they are, more and more people are going to appreciate what we do to preserve and protect our national forest, our rivers, and our outdoors in general. You know, there's been a time when people talked about a brave new world. Well, I want to tell you what we have now is a strange new world. So it gives me a great deal of pleasure to read this proclamation where, excuse me, I'm going to push that back just a little. Whereas the Appalachian Trail, founder Benton McKay's vision of the Appalachian Trail, included opportunities for recreation, recuperation, and employment through a series of recreational communities throughout the Appalachian chain to be connected by a walking trail. And whereas the AT traces its roots to the 1920s and was designated America's first national scenic trail in 1968, and whereas today, through the efforts of volunteers, clubs, and agency partners for the sustainability of the trail and its greenway, for more than 3 million visitors to the trail every year, and there's the potential for many more. Whereas Appalachian Trail communities are characterized by an abundance of natural, historical, and cultural features, many of which are protected and best viewed and appreciated by the Appalachian Trail. Whereas Appalachian Scenic Trail hiking, walking, adventures, overlooks, primitive areas, and fun present opportunities to attract visitors to Appalachian Trail communities from around the world. And whereas the continued partnership between Franklin, the Appalachian Trail, and its users will continue to act as a catalyst for enhanced economic development, engaging community citizens as Appalachian Trail visitors and stewards, and helping community members see the Appalachian Trail as a resource and asset. And whereas the community has and will continue to be recognized for the steps it has taken and will continue to take to ensure the ongoing protection of its natural and recreational resources while investing in its future as a memorable destination along the Appalachian Trail. And whereas this community's sense of place and the protection of the cultural, historical, and natural assets in the Appalachian Mountain region can benefit through the use of resources such as signage, communications, sharing of best practices, and new partnerships targeting youth and diversity. And whereas the town of Franklin, North Carolina, has for the past 5 years fulfilled its obligations as a designated Appalachian Trail community, an official designation conferred by the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and desires to continue its efforts to support the Appalachian Trail, its users, and its community efforts in that regard for at least another 5 years. Now therefore, I, Bob Scott, the Mayor of Franklin, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim that the town of Franklin accepts its continued partnership as an Appalachian Trail community, and urge the people of Franklin to support the Appalachian Trail through appropriate programs, activities, celebrations, and ceremonies. So, in witness thereof, I'm signing this proclamation for the town of Franklin.
Morgan, it's good to see you, sir. I just wanted to say a few words. First of all, thank you all very much for having us here at BizWeek. We really appreciate this opportunity. But on behalf of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy and our 44,000 members, our federation of 31 AT clubs, over 6,000 volunteers, and millions of Appalachian Trail walkers, and all those who appreciate what a special place Franklin is for hikers and outdoor enthusiasts, we are thrilled to renew this Appalachian Trail Community Partnership with Franklin tonight. Whether you hike the Appalachian National Scenic Trail as a day or a section hiker, whether you're a student using it as an educational resource, a volunteer helping to maintain it, or as an AT as a month-long lifetime adventure on your bucket list, the AT has something for everybody, as do communities neighboring the trail. AT communities are designated towns, counties, and communities taking steps to protect and highlight the natural, scenic, and cultural resources along the Appalachian Trail. ATC's AT Community Program was established to create and strengthen partnerships along the trail's 2,189 miles through the 14 states it traverses. AT communities are vital to the AT experience. providing important services and memories for hikers on their reflective journey. The AT Community Program launched 5 years ago, and even then Franklin served as a model and mentor for other trailside neighbors. Franklin was the first AT community to be designated, blazed the path for the kinds of initiatives and actions others could do, and led the way for what is now a network of 38 designated AT communities from Georgia to Maine. Would those of you on Franklin's AT Advisory Committee that are here please stand up? Franklin's strength as an AT community lies in the diverse advisory council, whose members support community events, programs, and volunteer stewardship events. They have created interpretive signage and information to trailheads and local businesses. They've supported the Nantahala Hiking Club in leading educational programming, including hosting art contests, field trips, leading hikers, and supported curriculum development through the ATC and National Park Service Trail to Every Classroom program and Hiking 101 programs. The Franklin Advisory Council encourages families to hike on Family Hiking Day and raises awareness about the Business Supporter Program, with 9 businesses currently participating, highlighting local organizations and merchants that provide support to the AT community, to hikers, and to trail volunteers. This is an incomplete list, but we want to recognize the efforts of the community to leverage the growth of outdoor recreation and how it's supporting community citizens. After 5 years of service to the partnership, the Franklin Advisory Council has gone through an assessment analyzing the outcomes of this partnership. These include, but aren't limited to, increased knowledge of the AT as a local asset, increased knowledge of the AT, increased education about responsible behavior in the outdoors, increased information about access and interpretive information, increased volunteer membership to the Nantahala Hiking Club, increased partnerships and dialogue among land managers, volunteers, and community leadership, and increased media attention for Franklin and the Appalachian Trail. Additionally, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy works with AT communities to continually evaluate the program to make it mutually as beneficial as possible. One important piece of news I'd like to share is that this coming Labor Day weekend, there'll be the release of the movie A Walk in the Woods, starring Robert Redford, about a long-distance hike on the Appalachian Trail. We expect that many new visitors will come to visit the AT as a result, and believe these new visitors will provide increased economic benefit to the AT communities. Julie Judkins, ATC's Director of Education and Outreach, stands ready to assist Franklin and other AT communities in preparing for increased use along the Appalachian Trail. 90 years ago, Benton Mackay, the founder of the Appalachian Trail, envisioned a footpath along the spine of the Appalachians to provide solace and respite for those troubled by the hustle and bustle of urban life. Those who took his vision to heart and made it a reality did so through partnerships too numerous to count. We recognize and celebrate those partnerships today, particularly the special partnership that exists and will continue to flourish here among Franklin, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and the many visitors that flock to this community. Franklin, through the leadership of the AT Community Advisory Council, contributes thousands of hours to promote and protect the AT, and we are thrilled to recognize this work and look forward to a growing, strong partnership for years to come. Thank you all, and we've got one more thing to present to you. Copy of the proclamation.
Can I read it again?
That is small.
Bill Van Horn, get up here. Real quick. Come on. This guy that has donated, Lord, I don't know how much time to the Appalachian Trail. Thank you. Just one final comment. It's pure coincidence that they took Robert Redford, because I'm often confused with.
Thank you all so much.
Well, Bob, I think Dr. Hill could do you some good with some glasses if you think you look like a Robert Redford. That's right. Okay, thank you all so much, and we do appreciate what the Appalachian Trail means to our community and the benefit not only now, but in the future that it'll bring to our area. We're one of our special guests this evening, and we're thrilled to have her. When I was going through who registered for the event, I came upon Pat Mitchell's name, and Pat had just registered just like anyone else online. I said, I think I know Pat Mitchell. And sure enough, it was the Pat Mitchell. So we're pleased to have Pat with us. Pat was appointed Assistant Secretary for Rural Economic Development at the NC Department of Commerce on September 13, 2013. She oversees the Rural Economic Development Division of NC Commerce. The division's programs include building reuse, economic infrastructure, the Division of Community Assistance, NC Broadband, Main Street, and North Carolina's Office for the Appalachian Regional Commission. Pat came to the Department of Commerce from a 9-year tenure in local economic development and county management. She holds a Certified Economic Developer distinction from the International Economic Development Council and is an adjunct professor for Appalachian State and NC State Universities. So welcome, Pat.
Notice how low we have to get the microphone for me. I am delighted to be here this evening. I drove in from Raleigh, left Raleigh about noontime. I come through this part of the state fairly often. I have a son that lives in the Atlanta area, so this is the way I drive down my home when I'm leaving my home up in Ashe County. I've never been off, I don't think, of the roads, that main road coming through. And when I drove back in here tonight, it is absolutely gorgeous. You all have got to feel really fortunate when you look out at the dogwoods and the azaleas and those mountains surrounding this church. I mean, it is beautiful. So I certainly commend you on the area in which you live. Talked to the Secretary of Commerce this morning, and he wanted me to send his greetings as well. Secretary Scavarla wants me to send the message how much he appreciates what the businesses and what the entrepreneurs do for the state of North Carolina. And when you come into a community like this, and when we're at the state level, we're talking about and trying to help communities enhance their economies. And when we get fortunate enough to come into communities like this, these are the people that are doing it. And we very much recognize that, and we appreciate that. So I'm going to just leave my remarks at that. I have the pleasure of introducing your real guest speaker, Scott Hamilton. And I've known Scott for about 10 years, have worked with him in various capacities. And as many of you know, he left this area last September, went up to Washington as the executive director of the Appalachian Regional Commission. I continue to work with Scott in that capacity. I'm the governor's alternate on that 13-state commission, so I think I see more of Scott now when he's in Washington and I'm in Raleigh than I did when we both lived in the West. In his role as executive director, he manages a 50-member staff. He is engaged in policy development, program development, manages a number of grant initiatives for the Appalachian Regional Commission. He does a great deal of traveling across those 13 states. As you know, before going up there, he was with Advantage West for a tenure, has worked in local economic development, has done chamber work, always in the public sector, helping to enhance economies in communities. He's held a number of leadership positions. I served on the NCEDA board, the Economic Developers Association board with Scott. He was instrumental in my getting involved in that as a gubernatorial appointment on the Workforce Development Commission. He's also served on the North Carolina Economic Development Partnership Board. Graduate of UNC Greensboro. He's also been through the University of Oklahoma Economic Development Institute and done a number of other leadership and training opportunities. So those are all the things I'm supposed to say about Scott Hamilton, having known him for 10 years. But here's what you need to hear about Scott Hamilton. Here's the important stuff, Scott. First off, if you know Scott well, and even if you don't know him well, one of the most important things to know about him is the dedicated family man that he is. And that the 10 years that I've known him, Hilda always comes into the conversation. Those girls always come into the conversation. And more importantly, for the last couple of years, little Jackson has come into the conversation. Very dedicated family man who is very proud of his wife and very proud of those girls and that grandson. When I was considering and being offered the position of going into Raleigh as the Assistant Secretary of Commerce, one of the mentors that I've counted on over the past 10 years has been Scott Hamilton. I consider him a good personal friend in addition to a professional colleague. And when that position was offered to me and I was considering it, it was Scott Hamilton I called, drove down to Asheville. Scott, he was still with Advantage West, took me into the boardroom, and we sat for a couple hours talking about the organization of commerce, what this new rural division would look like, how I could explain to the secretary how I wanted to help stand up that division. A very good mentor to professional colleagues across the state. And finally, when Scott had the opportunity to go to Washington, he and I had a conversation as he looked at that job description, and he was very hesitant to apply for that position. And one of the things he told me, he says, "Pat, I don't want to have a job where I sit at a desk and I push paper around and I manage staff. That isn't what I want to do." I don't think he sat at that desk maybe more than a week, Scott, since you've taken that position. Yeah, I have been in, I guess, 3 different states with you as a part of that role. What Scott Hamilton likes to do is to be in communities like this, engaging with the people that make a difference in their communities, the businesses that make a difference in the communities, and try and enhance programming and try to enhance policy development for better quality of life in the 13 states in which he works now. I think we're all proud to call Scott Hamilton a friend. Scott, I'll turn it over to you. Help me welcome Scott.
Oh, my goodness. Dr. Mitchell, thank you, Pat, very much for that. That was very gracious. Good evening. Good evening. How are we doing? So far, so good? So Tommy said we're going to be out by midnight, so I'm going to have to cut my speech short. And it's great to be here with the folks with the Appalachian Trail, because very often when we're at meetings with the Appalachian Regional Commission, somebody comes up to us and always asks us about why isn't the grass cut along the trail. So I don't know. We don't know anything about the trail. But now I know who to call. Not me, no. But it is great to be with you all this evening and have a high regard for the AT. And Tommy, thank you for the invite, for being here. It is great to be in Macon County with everybody. And commissioners, mayor, councilmen, thank you for all of what you do in your public service to the people that you serve. We are certainly all very grateful for the time commitment that you give, because I don't know that everybody realizes what it means for the time that you do serve. And that goes for the members of the EDC as well, the board members there that provide and volunteer their time to make this the best place that it can be for the people that live here. And I appreciate it. And I really appreciate it. I have to say this, when I was at Advantage West, Tommy was my first chairman. And it was great to work for him. And then when he rotated off the board, and then a little bit after he left Advantage West, he took the position as Macon County's EDC director. And one day when I was still with Advantage West, Tommy and I were talking or having lunch, and he said, "If I'd known your job was this hard, I would have been much nicer to you." It's always hindsight there, Tommy. So I really appreciate being here, and it's great to be here. Dr. Mitchell, thank you again for that tremendous introduction. It means a great deal, and you have, I don't know how I've been a mentor to you when you've been a mentor to me, and I really appreciate that very, very much. But it is a pleasure to be back in Macon County, and it is great to be here and reconnect with friends in Franklin, but also to enjoy the mountains. Being in D.C., when I look out, it is building mountains from my office, and you see these different mountains, or the buildings in the landscape, and it is a nice view out of my office. But there is no view, as Pat Mitchell said, that when you come over Cowie Mountain and you're looking at the range, or you're coming up the interstate and you're being able to see the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it tells you that you're home, and it is very good. And I do feel at home being here with you again, and I thank you for inviting me to speak today as we celebrate the final day of Biz Week 2015 and show our appreciation to the business community here. But also let me join in, all of you, in congratulating the nominees for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. This is an honor to be nominated, and they can and they ought to be rightly proud, and this demonstrates the strength of their character and the depth of their creativity. So to the nominees, I congratulate you. You've establishing this award shows how seriously you take building economic opportunity in Macon County, and the faith you have in a new generation of imaginative entrepreneurs to pave the way forward. Your commitment to building economic opportunity reflects the very same commitment promoting economic growth and job creation that we have at the Appalachian Regional Commission. For those of you not familiar with the ARC, we are a regional economic development agency that represents a partnership of federal, state, and local government. We were established by an act of Congress in 1965, and we are composed of the governors of the 13 Appalachian states and a federal co-chair who is appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. There are 420 counties in the 13 states that make up the congressionally mandated Appalachian jurisdiction. Local participation is provided through multi-county local development districts such as the Council of Governments or the Southwestern Commission. Our goal is to bring Appalachia into economic parity with the rest of the nation. We are doing this by being a strategic partner and an advocate for sustainable community and economic development in the region. ARC funds projects that address 4 goals identified in our strategic plan. These goals are to increase job opportunities in per capita income in Appalachia, strengthen the capacity of the people of Appalachia to compete in the global economy, develop and improve Appalachia's infrastructure to make the region economically competitive, and build the Appalachian Development Highway System to reduce Appalachia's isolation. We are updating the plan this year, and we will be inviting your ideas and input through a series of listening sessions. There will be one in Forest City in Rutherford County on May 15th at the Carolina Event and Conference Center beginning at 10 a.m. I encourage you to join us. Just check out our website at www.arc.gov for more information. And if you're unable to attend the listening session, you can participate by filling out a survey that is also located on our website. So again, that website address is arc.gov. Earlier this year, at the Appalachian Governor's Quorum meeting, we released our research report on the economic changes and challenges in Appalachia over the past 50 years, since ARC's funding in 1965. You'll be pleased to know that there has been substantial progress made in the region over these years. To cite just a few examples, the number of high poverty counties has been cut from 295 in 1960 to 90 today. The regional poverty rate has been cut almost in half, from 31% to 16%. Infant mortality has been reduced by 2/3. The percentage of adults with a high school diploma has increased by over 150%. And students in Appalachia now graduate from high school at nearly the same rate as that of the nation as a whole. More than 850,000 Appalachian residents now have access to new or improved water and sanitation services through ARC projects. And let me note that also more than 2,000 miles of new highways has been built and opened since President Johnson made his historic 1964 visit to Martin County, Kentucky, leading to the creation of the Appalachian Regional Commission. So as you can see, progress has been made since the founding of ARC in 1965, and we're pleased with it. ARC continues to contribute to the progress and to be the substantial progress that is being made. Since 1965, ARC has funded nearly 25,000 strategic investments in non-highway activities in the region. Over the past 5 decades, ARC's investments have helped create nearly 312,000 jobs and $10 billion in added earnings. In addition, ARC investments helped counties add employment at 4.2% faster rate and increase per capita income at a 5.5% faster rate than similar counties outside of the region that did not receive ARC investments. Let me note here that we haven't left Macon County out as we've made our investments in the Appalachian region. I'm pleased to say that during the last 5 years alone, we've invested $10.4 million in 53 development projects that included Macon County and other surrounding counties. These projects entailed supporting incubators and entrepreneurship, promoting health and education, and strengthening community capacity. We supported the work that you do and will continue to do so. We have made a great deal of progress, but there is still tremendous need out there, and we must continue to focus on it. Appalachia confronts a combination of challenges that few other parts of the country face, and you know these challenges as well as I do. It's mountainous terrain and isolation, dispersed population, inadequate infrastructure, lack of financial and human resources, and a weak track record in applying for and receiving assistance from other federal programs. Nearly a fourth of Appalachia's counties still suffer from persistent and severe economic distress. Per capita market income in Appalachia was 25% lower than the nation in 2010. 2/3 of Appalachian counties have unemployment rates that are higher than the national average. Appalachia lags behind the nation in proportion of adults with a college degree, 21% compared with 28% of the nation. Net population occurred in almost 2/3 of Appalachia's counties between 2000 and 2010. And Appalachia has higher rates of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes than the nation. And Central Appalachia, in particular, is wrecked by widespread abuse of prescription drugs. In 2010, the Appalachian region had a mortality rate that was 27% higher than the national average. In short, as we sum up the progress and challenges that remain, the way Appalachia looks today is a region transformed from one of widespread poverty to one of economic contrasts. Sometimes communities such as yours are successfully growing their economies, while others still require basic infrastructure such as roads and water, sewer, as well as broadband. These contrasts should not surprise us in light of the size of the region. Its 420 counties and 13 states covers an area extending more than 205,000 square miles from southern New York to northeastern Mississippi. If you'll remember, I mentioned this was a politically designated jurisdiction. So if you're asking how is New York and northern Mississippi in the Appalachian Mountains, well, again, it was a politically mandated jurisdiction. And we're home to over 25 million people. So we have our work cut out for us. This is why what your community is doing through its strategic partnerships is so important. As I noted earlier, it complements what we do at ARC, and it's indispensable to bringing about the economic growth we all want for the region. As one of the fastest growing counties in North Carolina, what you have accomplished is impressive. You have become a regional sales leader and created an ecosystem that not only promotes entrepreneurship, but supports the training of the workforce dedicated to making businesses succeed. You have energized the tourism industry, and you know how to help entrepreneurs get started, how to grow, and how to build the workforce they will depend on. This is an ideal combination. In the process, you have become one of the first counties to complete the Certified Entrepreneurial Community Program. And your commission has an entrepreneurship committee. That's pretty rare. I'm here today to encourage you to stay on track. You are an example for the rest of Appalachia in promoting economic opportunity as your local economy, once highly dependent on the real estate and home building industries, had to become more diversified if it was to thrive and grow. So as you continue to grow the business sector in your community and create the jobs that go with it, you are improving the quality of the life of the people here. And you deserve recognition and thanks for what you do. The global economy is relentless, and we need to continuously be on the lookout for economic opportunities, whether through business expansion, entrepreneurship, or attraction strategies. We will only flourish if we encourage new industries and activities, just as you are doing. At ARC, we welcome your ideas. You can always contact our ARC State Alternate, Pat Mitchell, who is here, and our program manager from North Carolina, Olivia Collier, to pass them on. We believe that Appalachia, including Macon County, represents the next great investment opportunity in our country. We believe it for three reasons. We have entrepreneurs, we have emerging economic opportunities, we have entrepreneurial ecosystems that can marry the two so that entrepreneurs can leverage and grow these opportunities. And all of this applies to Appalachia, North Carolina, and the Economic Development Commissions such as yours. You have a critical role to play in turning opportunity into reality, and we are here to support you and to encourage you. So once again, I appreciate this opportunity of being with you. Tommy, thank you for this. I appreciate it. It is a great privilege to be here. Congratulations to those that will be winning awards this evening, and thank you for all you do to make Macon County a better place.
Okay, Scott. That's great. Thank you for those words, and I think very appropriate for this evening. And I wasn't that hard on you when advanced class. Okay.
That's not what your wife just said.
No, okay. Well, she had to listen. Okay. Next, now, as Scott said, an important part of BizWeek this year was our entrepreneurship initiative. Last year, of course, that we had the business plan competition, $5,000 business plan competition, and I think our winner is here, Bob Vitale. Bob, hey. And Bob is running a successful business out at the Business Development Center. If you hadn't seen it, feel free to go out and take a look. It's really nice. Also, as a part of our EDC, we do have the CEC leadership team, which is the Certified Entrepreneurial Community Leadership Team. And would those members of the team stand up and be recognized for us? We have a mixture of bankers, entrepreneurs, and business development folks, especially over at Southwestern Community College in Western Carolina, that work with us, and we're pleased with that partnership. Let's see. I know, don't worry. For our our Young Entrepreneur of the Year for 2015, I would like to call Judy Chapman up, who's going to be doing some introductions and telling you about this year's competition. Judy?
Well, as Tommy mentioned, last year the CEC focused on a startup business, and Bob, thank you again for coming tonight. This year we have focused on supporting existing businesses, and with that we wanted to recognize the growing number of young entrepreneurs in Macon County. This is the first ever Young Entrepreneur of the Award for the county. We had 26 nominations, 11 nominees. Some people were nominated more than one time, and when you see the caliber of the candidates, you'll understand why. The criteria for the award this year was that the business had to be in Macon County. It had to be in business for at least 1 year, and the entrepreneur could not be over 35 years old. In alphabetical order, the finalists are, and if you will come up when I call your name, Tim Crabtree of Motor Company Grill, Tim is a native of Macon County. He is a graduate of Franklin High School and Appalachian State University. He is the owner and general manager of the Motor Company Grill since March 2014. He purchased an existing business and gave it a fresh new look. He updated the menu and placed an emphasis on customer service. He continually looks for ways to be inventive and to improve business, such as adjusting the operating hours to coordinate with sports teams locally. Working with the town of Franklin, Tim's business also produced the first ever New Year's Ruby Drop, which drew over 1,000 people to the downtown area on New Year's Eve. Tim and his family are currently Motor Company Gift. Our second nominee is Joe Deal of Deal Family Farms Incorporated. Joe is also a native of Macon County, a graduate of Franklin High School and North Carolina State University. Joe is the president of Deal Family Farms Incorporated. Carrying on a family tradition since the 1880s, Joe returned to the family farm in 2007. Deal Family Farms has worked to diversify their farming operations by growing fruits, vegetables, corn, hay, cattle, and pigs. They sell locally and regionally. Joe continues to branch out with agritourism activities such as corn mazes and hay rides, and recently a community-supported agriculture project known as CSA. CSA provides more than 185 members with a box of locally grown produce throughout the season. Deal Farms is also a licensed meat handler and have started selling locally grown beef, pork, and chicken at their retail location. You may have also seen Joe and his family on the cover of the 2015 Appalachian Sustainable Agriculture Local Food Guide. Joe Deal with Deal Family Farms. Our third candidate is Brett Murphy of Arrowwood Construction. Brett is a native of Maryland and a graduate of Auburn University. Brett specializes in custom home building, developing a reputation as a premier builder who listens to and works closely with his clients to make their dreams become a reality. He has been successful at growing his business even during a serious downturn in the home building industry, keeping his crew together as well as providing jobs for subcontractors. Brett incorporates new building technologies such as LEED. Customer service is the #1 job with Brett, from returning phone calls to meeting schedule deadlines. He has also found time to help his wife Brittany open a retail shop on Main Street. And branching out from the building business, Brett also founded Franklin's newest restaurant, The Bowery. Our fourth finalist is Jacob Ritchie of Smart Pharmacy. Jacob is a native of Maine and a graduate of the University of Florida. Jacob has dreamed of opening his own pharmacy since 2007 when he worked for Carter Mason at Plaza Pharmacy. After Mr. Mason passed, Jason went to work for Carr Drug, where he realized he was much happier in an independent setting than in the corporate world. He also saw that Franklin was in desperate need of a downtown pharmacy. Jacob started his own company in 2010, a relief pharmacist business that allowed him to travel all over Western North Carolina and work at pharmacies throughout the state. This gave him a unique insight to innovative ways and best practices to run a successful pharmacy of his own. After working on his business plan for 2 years, Jacob opened Smart Pharmacy, not only providing a much-needed service in the county, but also revitalizing a part of downtown Franklin. Jacob Ritchie of Smart Pharmacy.
Thank you, Judy, and the attention gatherers in the room. First, I'd just like to say that all 11 nominees are great nominees, and the CEC team really had its work cut out for it, trying to get us down to the 4 finalists. And these 4 guys are really to be commended for the contribution they make to our community, not only now, but as future leaders in the business community. Thank you, fellas. And we spent the $5,000 last year, so this year there's just this piece of hardware. So maybe you can develop a business plan next year, we'll give you a check. Are you ready, Mr. Angel? Ready. And the winner is... Open the curtain.
Wow, this is a nice clip. I actually would like to say a couple words. I'll keep it short and simple. I'd like to thank everybody for the love and support that it takes to start up a business from scratch. It does take a lot of hard work and dedication. And I'd like to thank everybody who helped me, supported me, and loved me throughout my very, very difficult decisions and journey. But it was all worth it. And it's going to be worth it in the end. Further and further I go, the more and more I like to help my community, support my community, join different clubs like Rotary and other things that I can do to help my community. And I appreciate you guys nominating me and voting me in as new Entrepreneur of the Year. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it, Rob. And next year, when we have nominations, I hope somebody will nominate some ladies. I heard several. I got an earful from several people. Part of our Biz Week is, of course, our Biz Week honorees. And the last few years, 4 years, I think, Mr. Chairman, that we've had this affair. We've really enjoyed honoring our local businesses and industry, and several of you are here tonight who have been honored in the past, and we appreciate you being here. This year, we're our Biz Week honorees. We have 2 this year, and for the first for our first honoree, I'd like to call up County Commissioner Jim Tate. Jim.
Tommy, I was watching. As I was having dinner, I was watching these slides come by behind us, and I saw the term entrepreneur come up, and it quote said, "A person who is willing to risk loss in order to make money." So I was pondering that, and I was like, I wonder if that's what Harris Cherokee Casino calls all their customers, entrepreneurs. No, in all seriousness, I myself was once a young entrepreneur in Macon County, not the Harris kind, but I started up several businesses before I finally had one that took off. And I was probably just like everyone in here in the business world. You have certain people that you look up to and that are sort of icons in your eye, and you kind of look at them as a mentor of how you want to lead your life, how you want to lead your business, and they inspire you to be all that you can be with not only your business but your personal life. So with that, it gives me great honor tonight to announce Lipoli Real Estate and Construction of Highlands as a 2015 Biz Week honoree. Since 1982, Lipoli has been a staple of the Macon County community and can claim that they have added well over 200 custom homes to the local tax base. The awards, recognitions, and accolades are numerous, but a few of the highlights are: they are a recipient of the North Carolina Small Town Main Street Award for design for their Highlands Town Square renovation. They're a past first place winner of an American Residential Design Award for a custom home over 4,000 square feet, and has been featured in, I ran out of fingers and toes to count, but way too many magazines and newspaper articles to count. And for me personally, it's easy to stand here and talk about what they've done for our economy, how many people they've hired. I mean, they've been in numerous businesses, from hotels to commercial developments to on top of their building. Clothier, too many businesses to count, and that's the true spirit of being an entrepreneur. That one of those people that's willing to risk loss in order to make a profit, and they've always been an icon in my eye. But again, it's easy to talk about the hundreds of people, not only that have worked for them, but have worked probably through them as subcontractors, or even the manufacturers that have helped build doors, windows, etc., that have helped go into their houses. It's all important. But what's really important is John and Anita Lipoli and how they lead their lives, how they look after their family, how they donate their time and their efforts and their monies to our communities. They looked after our schools. John's a trustee at Western Carolina University, governor appointed right now. And I myself am very happy to call him a friend. They've both been a very good inspiration to me, and it's one that I've modeled my business after, and I hope that's probably, no, I don't have to hope, I can tell you, it's one of the reasons my business has been so successful. It's because of John and Nita Lipoli. So let's give a warm welcome to John and Nita Lipoli.
Thank you all very much. It's a pleasure to be here. What a great honor be amongst all of you all. And of course, a wonderful community, and that's because of you all here. You make it what it is, and we're so happy to be part of that, a small part. And Jimmy made me barely walk up here, but thank you, Jimmy, very much. I've known Jimmy a long time. He's been a tremendous part of this community also. Our family, raised here, lived here, been here 40 years in business, and I can tell you right now it's never been better than it is right now. This community, this county, and lots of great things going, and lots of things to happen in the future. Thank you very much for this, and this recognition is very important, especially coming from you all. Thank you. Anita'd like to say a few words now. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you, John. We appreciate all that you and Anita do for our community. Our second Bizweek Honoree Award is Orville Coward Jr. So Orville, come on up.
Thank you, Tommy. I promise not to take long with this. Tommy asked me to present the award to Macon Bank, and in connection with that, he asked me to speak briefly about the history of Macon Bank, which has been here in this community for 93 years. So y'all just sort of sit back. This will be about an hour about the history of Macon Bank in this community. The soul, as a lot of you know, I grew up far, far away in Silva, and I've only been in Franklin for 36 years. So I still look at Franklin in the eyes of an observer, through the eyes of an observer, trying to figure out Franklin. And my mom was from Highlands, trying to figure out Macon County. The soul of Macon County, Ronnie, is our churches. The church, the character of our people in this county is gentle and kind and neighborly and friendly, and I really attribute that to the church-going nature of our people and their ancestors in this county. It is way more peaceful, if you think about it, than Graham County or Madison County or Swain County or Jackson County. It just is. And why is that? That's all I can come up with. That's the soul of our county. The heart of our county, historically and still, is Macon Bank. It is the heart of the economy of this county, and it's the heart of the community of this county because of the incredible support that it lends to this community. Macon Bank was originally founded as Macon County Building and Loan Association. In 1922, the founder was Gilmer Jones, lawyer Gilmer Jones. Richie Jones is uncle, and Fred Jones is great uncle. The second treasurer of Macon Bank was R.S. Jones Sr. Richie Jones was the lawyer for Macon Bank for I have no idea how long, and Fred Jones is on the board of the bank today. So a lot of the history of Macon Bank has to do with the backbone that the Jones lawyers have been for that bank and the wisdom that they have shown through the years. I first heard of Macon Bank, I can remember hearing about it as a little boy because my dad, Orville Coward, and his brother, Kent Coward, were so concerned about one of their first cousins going down economically. And nobody would loan him any money, and he was a good businessman, but he'd made a couple of bad decisions being an entrepreneur. And I remember my dad going and talking to R.S. Jones Sr. about a loan, and they made a loan to this man, and he recovered, and he paid him back, and that's my first memory as a child. Today, it was funny, in trying to prepare a history of this bank that was formed in 1922, I asked 2 or 3 people, who were the presidents of Macon Bank? And I asked Jim, I asked Roger, I asked Fred, I called Richie, and amazingly, nobody was quite sure who the list of presidents of Macon Bank were. But I'm going to give it the best shot that this committee, Mr. Garner, has come up with. Starting out with Gilmer Jones, and then was Henry Cabe, and then L.C. Henderson, and then Everett Stiles, and then Roger Clemens. And I stand willing to be corrected if anybody knows any better than that, but nobody seems to, Ed. So amazingly, for an institution that's 93 years old, it's had 5 presidents. What does that tell you about the strength of leadership that has been given to that organization through the years? And those men have been supported by boards comprised of wise men and women, boards that come from the heart of this community, that are our friends and neighbors and have given of their time and efforts to keep this treasured institution moving along. I remember my first closing with Macon Bank in August of 1979, and I hope Roger Clemens has forgotten it because I did such a poor job, and I thought, at the time, Roger Clemens was the only loan officer at Macon Bank. I don't know how many 40 years you've worked there, Roger, but a long time. But he was the only loan officer, and Everett was the president. And I closed this loan very poorly, and I thought, I'll never get to do any more business with Macon Bank. The Macon Bank, in starting in Macon County in 1922, think about what Macon County was like in 1922. We had no industry, and we've always struggled to attract industry in the county. Any agriculture that we had, Mr. Dill was at that time pretty incidental, and it's only been recently that agriculture on a major level has come to Macon County, and so historically there wasn't a great deal of capital or jobs produced in that manner, and there was no institutional economy like there is in Jackson County to our northeast. And really not that much. And the mining was more than other places around, possibly, but not a huge thing. So how did Macon County get so prosperous? Well, what happened is that, in my opinion, Macon County is the most beautiful place in the whole world. And I'm sure it's not really, but I challenge anybody to tell me of a place that's as pretty with our plateau, our beautiful river basins and the rushing creeks coming down out of the hills and rising to the majestic mountains in the distance where we can see and go if we want to. So what we had to sell was the opportunity and the privilege of people coming here to stay some and to live some and to be some And the genius of the people of our ancestors was able to capitalize literally on that to create an economy. And the fact that Macon Bank was started in 1922 and could go along with that and provide the capital for that and attract the attract the deposits, and then turn around and make the loans that enabled the houses to be built. My daddy said, if you hate trailers, it's because you don't remember the mountain people all had to live in shacks. And that's what Macon County what Macon Bank has been able to do, is to provide the capital for our people to build homes, which has created a huge economy through the years. And not only to build homes for themselves, but to build homes for the people that come here to live in the summer. And then that has unfolded on itself and unfolded on itself. And it turns out that after these long years of good management in that bank, that we look around and it's got a branch in nearly every county in western North Carolina, and it's the largest mortgage lender, Mr. Shields, in western North Carolina when we looked at one point, and now the second largest community bank, and I'm including Asheville, in western North Carolina. And how did that happen? It happened as a partnership between that bank and this county, and it's integral to the development of Macon County. And that rocked along until up came the Great Recession. And this was the finest hour. It was the lowest point, but the finest hour. And our economy, which was based on second homes, and it was based on tourism, and it was based on the construction industry, and it was based on the subcontractors, and it was based on making loans to people building houses. And in 2007, it crashed right out from under us. And it crashed in Macon County as bad, I believe, as anywhere in America. And it is nothing short of a miracle that Macon Bank survived. And it survived because its management and its board and the people that work for it operated in a way that was nothing short of heroic. Not just to protect their job, but I believe, in talking to the people and working with them through that period of time, that they were working because they cared about their county. And they didn't want to go down, and they didn't want their people to lose their jobs, and they didn't want us as a community to lose the power and the authority that comes from having a local bank where we're not dependent on the giants that other communities are. We actually have local community banks that really empower our people. So, you pulled through it. You pulled through that. You pulled through it because of your grand leadership and your determination as an organization. Roger Clemens, would you please come forward and accept the award? The 2015 BizWeek Honorary Award will be presented to Macon Bank through Roger Clemens.
It's an honor to accept this on behalf of the bank, and we appreciate the recognition of our efforts and contribution to the local economy and to the community. I've been fortunate enough to work my whole career at Macon Bank, and I'm truly blessed to be part of an organization that has a heart for the community. And as Orville said, we've been through some rough times over the years, starting back in 1922 to go through the Great Depression and our building burning in 1988, the Great Recession, and we pulled through that. And you can only do that with the support of the community, and we want to give back to the community. And you also do it with good people, and we have a great management team, we have a great board of directors, and we have great employees. And I would like to recognize our board members that are here this evening. Beverly Mason, and Fred Jones, Stan Jeffress, Jim Garner, and Mr. Ronnie Bill. So these, and you know these people, and they're a big part of the board, but they're also a big part of the community and give back in many other ways. But we do appreciate it. Dr. Mitchell, we do appreciate what the state does. Just to give you an idea, there's a program through the Rural Center, the Loan Participation Program. We received a report this week that we were second in the state in number and third in the state in dollars. We loaned $12 million this year through that program to 23 businesses that employ 305 people. So we do appreciate the programs of the state. But again, thank you for this. Our board, our management, our employees, thank you.
You know, for years we've been giving these awards out, and Macon Bank, we never got around to it, and I really think the reason is because our EDC chairman was actually Ed Shapley was the chairman of the board of Macon Bank, and he wanted to hold off till we could do it right. So Ed, we appreciate your leadership, not only at Macon Bank but on the EDC board. Folks, you know, this past year has been a mismatch of opportunities, challenges, and issues for Macon County. While our unemployment has decreased, our unemployment rate has decreased significantly, many are still looking for work or underemployed. In addition, there still remains a skills gap for employees meeting the need of employers. An issue our strategic partners at Southwestern Community College and workforce development groups are aggressively addressing, resulting in a better workforce for our community. This past January's announcement of Caterpillar's 2016 closing has presented a further challenge for providing good jobs within the county, one that will require aggressive marketing and cooperations with our friends at NC Commerce, state and local officials, and private partners. But there's a lot to be proud of, as you've seen this evening. Our economy is rebounding from the Great Recession, and this recovery is being led for the most part by our local business community, the backbone of our economy. We've had some examples. I would like to give you a couple more examples. You've heard about John Edgeman and his team at FTP, what they've done to increase productivity and efficiency and increasing their bottom line. And we're proud to call Franklin Tubular Products a strategic partner in our efforts in Macon County. Also, in Highlands, Old Edwards Inns and Spa has experienced their best winter and first quarter ever and have now experienced positive growth for 6 straight years. First quarter revenue was up over 29% over 2014, and Richard says that 2014, 2013 weren't bad years either, so that's great. Occupancy was over 50% in January, and if you remember back in the old days, you could fire a gun down Main Street in the Highlands and not hit anybody. So to be commended for that, Richard. Better still, they're employing almost 400 folks, up from 180 in 2008. In addition, their due in, 200 Main, has been a great success and is filling quickly for the season. OEI is voted the #2 resort by Travel and Leisure magazine and the #5 hotel in the U.S. by TripAdvisor, so we appreciate your efforts, Richard. Thank you. Another example we have is Drake Software. Drake Software is our #1 private employer in Macon County. Over 50,000 tax offices throughout the United States use Drake Software. This year, they filed 14.1 million federal electronic returns through their system and 11.2 million state returns. And more impressive than that, from December to April 15th, their call center answered 822,000 calls. And more impressive than that, the average wait time to talk to a live person was 6 seconds. The longest anyone had to wait was 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So that's a little better when I was trying to get my electronic thing fixed at Christmas and spent half Christmas Day on the phone. That's just an example of the kind. That's just an example of the kind of entrepreneurs and businesses we have in our community. Macon Bank, I had something written about Macon Bank, but Orville, you've said it all with those gracious words, and we are truly blessed to call Macon Bank as part of our community. Angel Medical Center, they continue to establish themselves as a regional medical hub with consistent and very strong growth in several clinical programs, headlined by services such as men and women's services, orthopedics, and my wife's a good example of that. She just had her hip done 2 weeks ago at Angel Medical. I'm doing fine. Also, new investment in the inpatient women's health unit has begun, in part due to a growing trend in positive margins for overall AMC operations. And last but not least, let's don't forget the tourism sector in our county. And Dr. Morris from Western Carolina is here, their tourism director, and I'm stealing these figures from you, Dr. Morris. I appreciate it. Tourism continues, always has been, and continues to be a driving force in Macon County, generating over $140 million per year in direct spending in the county, and $23.66 million in payroll per year. Room occupancy tax collections are increasing at a dramatic rate. Smoky Mountain Performing Arts Center has surpassed 282,000 ticketed visitors to their venue since their opening. Highlands has undergone a downtown renaissance, as we've seen and heard. And Franklin is beginning to experience the same, with new restaurants, vacant buildings being filled, and a new brewery. There's not only one new brewery in the county, there are 2 breweries in the county. Highlands has one now. And if you'd have told me 20 years ago that someone was opening a brewery in the town hall and the head brewer was an ordained minister, I would have laughed you out of the room. So that just shows how far we've come, folks. Yes, there are many challenges before us, but there is also much to be proud of. And we salute those of you striving every day to make Macon County a better place to live. Thank you all for attending tonight. And I forgot one other thing. Don't worry, it won't take long. I would like to thank the Job Corps and their students for the excellent job they've done this evening. So come on out, guys. Well, they're somewhere out there, but every year I always realize. Okay, she's bringing them out. Here they come, folks. Thank you, guys. Great job as usual. And thank you, Marvin, for arranging that. Special thanks to the Bowery, Tony Angel Media. Tony, hey, you do a great job every year. Holly Springs Baptist Church, LBJ Job Corps again. Angel Medical Center for a great meal this evening. Thank you, Tim Frost. April's Flowers on Main for the lovely flower arrangements. Jazz Mountain for the music tonight. Our Macon County CEC leadership team. And someone I always forget to thank, but I know to do it tonight, is my lovely wife, Robin. One other bit of housekeeping. If the people who have won awards can stick around so we can get some press pictures. Good night. Drive safe.